everyone, it is Andrea and today I'm coming at you with a haul. As you can see from the title, as you can see from the thumbnail, I just went a little crazy. But this is me. This is the real me, and I have no chill. No sinking chill. And Hannah and I went to Half Price Books, and I did not realize that they had board games. Board games. So these were basically half-priced board games. And y'all, I feel like I did such a good job with finding some awesome deals and steals, and a lot of these games like I haven't seen anywhere, and I would have to buy like on random websites and pay shipping like once to like even get them, and then they would be even more expensive than this. And also Half Price Books, so basically it's kind of like you bring your stuff in and then they will buy it from you. So all of these games were brought in for somebody. There's a couple that I think that they like source and bring in to sell at like a deal, but most of these, you bring them in, they give you money for them, and then they sell them. So kind of like a consignment shop, I guess. But I just am so excited because of the different types of games, and also the just like the deal. And it's like kind of like thrifting but for board games. And I did ask the employees, and they do count all of the pieces for all the opened games, and I did go ahead because I am me and open all of the ones that were opened or I suspected to be opened and counted all the pieces, and every piece was in there. So I believe them. So let's go ahead and just start on the top of this stack here and talk about this first game here. This one is called The City, and I've actually looked at this one online, and this one's price was more than $10. And this one is a just like a deck building kind of city game, and this has the expanded city, which has like extra cards. It's by Eagle Gryphon Games. And I really honestly just love any type of city themed game, and I figured for $10 this would be an easy one to try out and see if I liked. It just seemed like a sure thing, again for $10, and it's still in the wrap, so it has not been opened. So I'm going to be doing unboxings of all of these on our Instagram. If you want to follow that, I will have it linked down below. It's BG Girlies, and we are just having so much fun over there. Another one that is also in the wrap, so I'll be doing an unboxing in it, is Airship City, and I got this for 20 doll hairs. And again, I just really love city themed games. I tried to go with things that seem safe. Either I really like the publisher, I like the designer, I like the theme, or it's a very visible mechanic that I can see that I like. There's only a couple that I bought that I was like, I think that this just generally looks cute, and I was like, the price was like not bad. So this one was $20, and this one you are building a like city in the sky, and I think that that is so fun, and the graphics looked really cute. So this one for me was a purchase based on like liking the theme. This is by Come On Global Limited, and this, the only thing about this one is it is a 3 to 4 player, so we cannot play it as a 2-player. But that just means that we will have to bring it to a game night. It's just very bizarre for a 3 to 4 player game. I don't think I have many of those, but again, for $20, I'd say we figure it out. This is another one that I bought simply because it was $5, and I really want to have a Christmas, well, it was actually $4.49. I want more like holiday themed games to play around the holiday. I don't really expect this to be something that's going to change my life, but for under $5, I thought that this looked cute. And it is a Disney like Chip and Dale Christmas game, and I thought this would just look so cute in a stack. And worst case scenario, if it's just a really light, I can play it with my kids, but well, when they get bigger, because there is reading required. But it is a 2 to 6 player game, so we can bring it when we have guests. But it looks like you are kind of like set collecting in this, which is fun, where you're like collecting. Like this one, you get, if you have both Chip and Dale, you get 3 presents. The one is like Donald, it says before your turn, collect 3 treasures from the top of the deck, then discard one of your treasures. So it looks like a fun little game. It looks like it's going to be something that I'm going to like enough, and it's Disney, so it's just going to be a win for me. And it's 2 to 6, which I feel like is nice to just have on hand if we have somebody over, especially if it's a lighter game. I think that's really nice to have. Another thing I picked up, and I have never played Munchkin. I did pick up Munchkin. That was almost at every single store. There was a couple games that we saw multiple places, but a lot of them were like we saw once, and then we went to I think 4 or 5 half-price books. We have 2 more to go to in Austin, and I think we're going to be doing a reel on doing that, and then in 4 or 5 months we're going to go to all of them again, and we are going to do a whole video on it. But this is the Munchkin, and this is the collectible card game. I thought this looked so cute, and I was just gonna buy one of these, but they were $7.99 and both of these were $9.99. And I thought this was really fun because it's kind of like Dice Throne-esque, where you can pick a different character. So there's a wizard, bard, cleric, thief, ranger, and warrior. So very like D&D vibes. And you can play, like, you could change them up. And I really love the idea of being able to pick different characters and play as them. And this one, I will say, I think that the graphics look cuter than the regular plain old classic Munchkin game. And again, these were like $10 and these are unopened, so I will do an unboxing on all these. Another thing I thought was really cool is, I don't know if the publisher of this it's Steve Jackson Games, is from Austin, but they all have like an Austin P.O. box on the bottom. 78760. I think is that downtown, and even a 512 number. So I thought that was like really interesting, and especially because Munchkin is pretty big, so I'm very excited to play this, and I think this is gonna be really, really, really fun. I haven't played any Munchkin games, but there's so many iterations of them. I feel like it's like one of those like necessities that I need to try out. Another game that I did pick up, which is out yonder, is I did pick up this game called Planet. If I remember, I will put in a picture, but it is basically like a globe game, and I paid $20 for it. We did play it last night, and I kind of wish I would have paid like $15 for it or $10 for it. It was kind of basic. It took like all of 10 minutes, but I think it might be a good one to play with kids because there's no writing on it, so I think I can maybe play it with Bennett. I just think it might involve a little bit more strategy than he can handle, but it's like not enough strategy to make me want to play it again, if that makes sense. It had like a pretty decent rating on Board Game Geek, but I don't know, it might be just a little too light for me, but I really think that the mechanic of that was unique with having like a globe. So check out how to play if you want to see, because it's a very interesting like look. It has like a globe that has like my magnetic tiles. The next one I got based off of theme, and this is Zuorelito, and it's by Rio Grande Games. It was Game of the Year in 2007, which, for fun fact, that's when Nick and I started dating. So that feels like 100 years ago. And this is just like a zoo game, and it looks like the graphics are from 1993. But it says it was Game of the Year it came out, and this is a game where you're building a zoo, and it just has different animals and enclosures, and I thought it would be fun. Obviously, it's not going to replace our favorite zoo game, which is Ark Nova, but I thought it might be cute. It doesn't look like it has many words on it. This is one that I opened and checked all the pieces. So you have your instructions and your boards, and yeah, there's not like many at all like words. There's some little cards, but I think those are just like reference cards. So I think this is another one I might be able to teach Bennett. It is 2 to 5 players, which is also nice if we want to play a game with 5 people. Also, I want to just mention, I did buy this because I haven't seen it really anywhere. I'm really hoping to find a Katan copy. There was one at Half Price Books, but I didn't look at the price of it. But I really want my own copy of Katan, but I feel like that's one I'm gonna find eventually. But I haven't seen anyone carry the 5 to 6 player expansion for it. There is like the other, is like Seafarers or something has a 5 to 6, but I just wanted the classic. And I just picked this up at Walmart because it's the only place I have seen it, and I think that that's bizarre. So I'm on the lookout for a used copy of Katan. The next game I picked up was a game that Nick had saw and said that he wanted. So this one was $25. I don't know if I mentioned, but this one was on sale for $15, which even more so sold it. I was like really debating on that one. And also it was 2007, like zoo game. This is the most like pixelated graphic I've ever seen in my life. It just had character. This one Nick had saw online and was like, oh, like he likes Portal, so I thought this would be one just to pick up just to kind of appease him. It doesn't look interesting to me at all, but this was $25, and this is a 2 to 4 player game, and it's based on the video game Portal, which I actually have tried to play with him one time, and it was very, very confusing and complex, and like you have to shoot a gun for a portal, and you get to shoot the gun somewhere, and you have to like walk through the portal. I mean, it's not that complicated, but like it's too complicated for my little teeny tiny brain. This is another one that I like opened it already and counted all the pieces and everything was in there. There's like this little block thing. There's this little, I know this is like some kind of robot kind of thing, and cake pieces, some little characters, this thing. I don't know. It just was one that I knew that if I came home with all these board games, but then also came home with this, Nick would be like, oh, that's exciting, and just forget the fact that I bought too many board games. This was like a lot, and I like debated through a lot. So there's a lot that I put back, but somehow still, my shirt matches, ended up with a lot of board games. The next one I picked up is Seven Wonders, and I was really excited to find this copy specifically. This was $25, and this is from Repost Production, and this is the old version. This is like the new printing is like completely different, it has like foiled cards. It advertises on the new printing that it's 3 to 7 players? I guess so. This one advertises 2 to 7. If you watch Rodney How to Play video, this is the version that he uses because it's from a really long time ago. But Nick has really wanted his own copy of Seven Wonders, and I really don't think that you would just have to figure out how many cards to use if you wanted to use, like, look up the directions and use the card amount for 2 players. But I think since they released a duel, this is not like the most ideal game to play 2 players because it's like a hand passing game. And I feel like, and like there's also like left and right kind of situations. And I feel like for 2 players, it's not as fun, but Nick would really like playing it 2 players. I personally like duel better when it comes to the idea of playing it with 2 players, but I thought, especially since Hannah has the newer version, there's not like a lot that's changed, but I thought it would be cool to have the older version. The cards look completely different if you have the newer version. The cards are a little different looking, and I think that that's kind of fun to have something that's older and just, I don't know. Nick really likes Seven Wonders, so I thought this would be a good one to pick up. And again, the old one just really spoke to me. And again, $25. I think that the regular one, if I bought it on Amazon, and again, I checked that one, all of the pieces are in it. And whenever it came to the my haul here, I did want to go over that about 60% of them were completely unopened, like either shrink wrapped or the cards are still like sealed. So I just assumed those were never played because they would need the cards to do so. As far as the used ones that I did open up, every piece was there. I counted, even if there was 50, I counted the pieces, like 50 of a thing. I counted them all. Yeah, Seven Wonders is on sale on Amazon for $43. And Seven Wonders is one of those ones that like you're like, the price that it is on Amazon, because it's like a bigger game, is usually what it's going to be at like a local game store. And then Seven Wonders Duel is $27. So I feel like this was cheaper than even Duel, which Duel you can get at, I think you might be able to get Duel at a better price at a game store. Out of all of the used games, like the games that I opened, I would say they're about 40% of the games were used. And I would say maybe out of that 40, maybe 10% have been played, and only 1 had been played heavily, which we will go into that one. And that is the one that I'm most excited about out of all of these games. For I don't know what reason, besides the fact that it looks beautiful and it's by a designer that I really, really enjoy. But yeah, the other 35% of them were like, they look like maybe either they were opened and somebody was like, nah, or they were played once. Like the Villainous game that I had, it definitely was open, but the cards weren't shuffled through. I think only 2 of the decks looked like they were kind of like messed up a little bit. But even then, like the other ones were like all in order. If you know what the Villainous cards look like in order, that's what they look like. So I think only maybe a couple of them were played a couple times, and then one of them was played heavily. So I think that was pretty good. The next one here that I never saw before, but I just thought it looked so fun. This was $24.49, and this is Katan Adventures. I don't know how to pronounce this. It says the First City, and for some reason to me, there was other Katan games. There was like, I think the Game of Thrones one. There was a regular Katan. I wish I would have looked at the price of it, but wasn't thinking. But this one I was like, I picked up and I was like, okay, this looks old, like really, really old. And I think it is old, 2005. So I think this is one of the oldest games I got in this lot. But to me, this looked like my city. Does it not look like my city? Hold on. The First City. That cracked me up. I'm just going to put this game behind me because I'm not going to be able to squeeze it back in there. But I got this solely based on it's a tile placement city game, and that honestly, it's my kryptonite, is a tile placement city game. But this one has like trade ships, church tiles, which also my city like it has similar things. Like, and even these like have different colored tiles for like the roofs of the cities. Like, it just gave me my city vibes. I'm sure it's not going to be the exact same thing, or maybe even like at all the same similar. But this just like, in my city is one of those like really happy place games where like it was our first like legacy campaign game that we did as a group, and everyone loved it. It was like, everyone was like, we're playing my city, or playing my city tonight. Are we doing another chapter? So I'm really excited to have this. And like I said, I don't have even just the regular Katan. So I thought that this one would be one to have. It even has like the railroad. Like, I feel like this had to have inspired my city. I wonder if they like share anything, like anybody like on the board, or if there's any information online that if they were like inspired, like if my city was inspired by this, because I am so curious, because like there's so many little similar things that just giving me my city energy. So I'm very excited to play that one. That one's probably in my top 5 of most excited for out of the lot. The next one here is Munchkin. I mentioned I got this. It was $15.99. I should have went through and like made a list of like what these would be if you bought them online. But also it like so much so depends on like where you're buying them from. And also Munchkin has so many iterations that I was like overwhelmed, and there was a few different ones that we saw, but I really just wanted to get the basic Munchkin. So this one is $14.99 on Amazon. It's on sale for $27.30, which I feel like this is another game that's very popular. So the pricing, like, I feel like less popular games, if you kind of start looking, if you're new to the board game world, a lot of the less popular games are more expensive on Amazon than they would be on a friendly local game store, which I would still always suggest doing so. And also, even if you are shopping on those online, check out the Ding and Dents. I want to do a video where I buy Ding and Dents and kind of show you, like, I got this from this website, this is what it said, this is what it looks like, this is the ding, this is the dent. There's only one website that I've been able to find that sells Ding and Dents where it shows you the dings and the dents, and usually they're not that serious, and sometimes it's just that the cello is slashed, and you can get games on a discount from that and support a local or small business. And anyways, so this was $14.99, so pretty much half priced, and this is just Munchkin. And again, I don't know, the graphics don't really do it for me on this one, but I like the whole like kill monsters, steal treasures, stab your buddy. That's their like little tagline, and it's just a bunch of cards. I feel like if this one ends up being good, I'm skeptical of it, but if it ends up being good, this would be a good one for travel, along with these Munchkin ones. I feel like these would be great for travel too. I did like crack these open to see like if they were used, and they are not. They are still like sealed cards, so I feel like these would also be ones that are really easy for travel as well. Like, just pick 2 characters and bring them on. I wouldn't take the whole box, but that's Munchkin. And then last but not least of this stack is Villainous. I don't have any of this. This is not fur from the place, it's from my rug. I don't have Villainous. That's where I'm at. I have I think all of the Marvel Villainous, and I'm probably going to do Star Wars, but Hannah has all of the regular Villainesses. I don't plan on collecting all of the different villains. Hannah has them, so it seems a little silly to do so. Let me look and see how much this one is on Amazon. This one is on sale for $34, so this was only like $10 off. This one, I figured I do like the Disney like Villainous like straight better than the Marvel. I feel like the Marvel ones start to get a little bit more complicated with all of their added like components and things like that. I think that the regular Villainous is more classic. If you're looking between them, I would start with this and maybe just get this box in particular. And I thought, like, if I have people over and they're into Disney but not super into board games, that this would be a really great gateway into board games, because it is not as easy as a lot of like the classic board games that you know, but it's like a little bit more strategic but not wild. Like, it's not too hard to wrap your head around. And I feel like so many people love Disney. It's another game that you can play with a lot of people. Is there even like a max player count, or is it just as many players? It says 6 players. So I feel like this is another one we could bring to the table when we have guest gamers, which we do have like one that comes around quite a bit now. So like a stray cat. But this will be one that we could definitely bring to the table whenever he comes over, and we also have people who come and visit us. So this is one nice to have, and also I do prefer the Disney ones, but again, I'm not going to buy all of them because Hannah has them. If I ever want to use them, I can just borrow them. But I thought since I found this and it looked like a really in good shape copy, that for basically $10 off, it needed to come home with me. On to stack 2. This like just brings me so much serotonin though. Y'all don't know, or maybe you do know. The next one here is called Lux Arena, and it's a solo player game. Oh, I didn't even realize it's a solo player game. Well, that's fun. I don't actually have any. Well, I have like one player game technically. And this is a 15-minute game. It's by Capstone Games, which I feel like feels very, very fun. And this one I did like pre-open in the store just to kind of see like what it looked like, because there was no, like the back is like the most nondescript box ever. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this for you real quick and show you how pretty this is. I didn't realize it was a 1-player game though, but that's kind of exciting actually. I want to show you the thing that sold me last, but like these cards are so pretty. This definitely was used maybe because there's like writing in it, but the cards are like in perfect condition. And like, how fun is this? I love the graphics. I think they're so cute. They're like neon. These are like mem, whatever that is. So I don't know if they are like event type cards, but let me show you what sold me. Look at these teeny tiny little itty bitty dice. For freaking get about it. But now I'm even more excited that it's a 1-player game, but this was $10. And again, I haven't really seen this game anywhere, so I was excited about that. Also, these stickers come off really easy. This is one I bought because they had so many copies of this. Must have been one that they stocked. And this was $7, and it's Escape from the Mall. I see a lot of like escape room games or like exit games, things like that, where they are kind of like a, like not a one-time play, but like you're not going to play it like a bazillion times. This is a one-time play experience. And this is like a brain-busting, puzzly type game. And again, a one-time game, and it's for 1 to 4 players. So I think this would be really fun for me and Hannah to play one game night. It says it takes about 45 minutes. And I am excited to give it a go. I'm just like interested in like how a like one-time play or like kind of game like this plays out. And for $7, I figured it would be the perfect one to try. They had a couple of different ones there, so if I like it, I could get more at Half Price Books, and they had them in a couple different places just to like have as a little experience game. And I really loved the graphics. They just reminded me of like 80s, 90s themed nostalgia. And that one was unopened. This one also, I think all of these, no, just kidding, there's some used ones on the bottom. This one was unopened, like sealed. This one is Dragon Slips and Ladders. It is the shiny board game of ups and downs. This one was not for me. I have had a Chutes and Ladder game in my, and this was another one that I think they might have brought in. This was $10. I had a Chutes and Ladders game in my cart to check out with. And I just figured that this was a cuter little version of it. And it was actually cheaper than buying it. So I figured, why the heck not? So you have your little dragons. I figured Bennett would really love that. And Bennett's my 5-year-old, if you don't know. Then you have the board, which I was hoping it is holographic. And I think that this is worth $10. This is everything. I just wish more board games were foiled. Like, that's not something that you see very often at all. So I'm really excited to have a little foiled board game, even if it's going to be played with my 5-year-old. So I figured I'd just pick that up for us. Then there is Dice Trip. And this just looked so, like, the graphics of this looked amazing as far as, like, just being really modern and beautiful. I don't know if this one's opened. It's going to be up to us to figure out whenever I do an unboxing, but this is a 1 to 4 player game, which is called Dice Trip, and you're traveling through Germany, and it is a roll and write. So I'm very excited to try this one out. We're going to be doing a like location based themed night where we're just picking all games that have like a location tag to them. And I think this will be perfect for that. And this was $10. I don't think I've seen this anywhere else that I've been shopping at. The next one here is another one that I think that they brought in. It's not like a game that like they had a lot of copies of it, so I think that they purchased it to sell. And I don't know if it's called Juba Cow, maybe, question mark, and it was $10. It was $10, but this one I went like this. And the tiles in it sound like the tiles from Ingenious, and I love the feel of those tiles. They're like a plastic tile that's kind of like hollowed out on the inside and has like a divot around the edge, so it's just like the texture, like the feel of it is very, very good. It's a tile placement game. I think there's just patterns involved, and it just is an elegant tile laying game for connoisseurs. And I thought that this looked fun. It's 2 to 4 players. It's a Ravensburger game, so I'm assuming it will be good. I don't think it's going to like blow my mind, but again, those tiles I'm pretty sure are going to be a winner for me. The next game in here is by Rosenberg, and I just have been loving everything that I've played that has the touch of in it. And this one here is you are in Iceland and you are trying to build a vegetable garden. Basically, that is the name of the game. This was $30, and you are just planting some vegetables and growing your garden. And I think that this is going to be so fun. This is by Renegade Games. I've been like kind of iffy if I'm telling you who they're by, but I just saw Rosenberg and was like, well, I need you in my life. And this is another one that I haven't seen anywhere. So I just figured, why not pick it up? It's 1 to 4 players, and I think we're gonna do a whole like farming garden kind of stack eventually too, so that'll be perfect for this. And it was sealed, so $30 is perfect for me. The next one I picked up with Nick in mind as well, and this is called Rallyman GT. I briefly started watching a how to play on this, and it looks a little complicated. Not like complicated, but just like, I'm like, I just gotta like think. This was $25, and this is by Holy Grail Games. It's 1 to 6 players, which is perfect. Again, for if we have people over, I think that Nick's friend would really enjoy this one because it's like a racing theme. And Nick is like getting into like go-karts and stuff, so I think this is going to be perfect. Basically, you are rolling your dice to move around the track, and you all have your own cars that have your own kind of like little stats and tires, etc., etc. Again, I started watching the how to play, and I was like, I'm gonna need a minute on this one. But again, a nice game that is 1 to 6 players, and I thought if I'm bringing home all these games, I'm going to try and offset the fact that Nick's gonna be like, what happened? And he'll be like, ooh, 3 games that I will like. I like all of them, TBH though. The next one in here is the Dark Crystal. This was $25, and I actually had this on my Amazon wish list. I haven't seen it anywhere besides like Amazon. And this is the Dark Crystal board game. I do have the Labyrinth version that is quite similar to this. I am a big Jim Henson fan, hence Sarah on my arm from the Labyrinth. And the Labyrinth is definitely my favorite between those 2 cult classics from the 80s. But I do love the Dark Crystal. I even more so maybe loved the TV show on Netflix of the Dark Crystal even more so than the movies. And I really want to get a Dark Crystal tattoo maybe next. I think it would be really fun. Who did I want to get? There's like the All Madra, which I don't know if she's actually in the movie. She might just be in the TV show, but the All Madra, there is a really pretty picture of her on like a graphic novel that I think I kind of want to get something inspired by that. And it, like the All Madra is like all good, and like she's just like it's like hard to explain if you don't watch the movie, but like I just think that'd be fun. It was either gonna be the All Madra or it was gonna be, I don't remember what her name is, the like weird eyeball lady. It also sounds like All Madra, but it's not. It's like all, you know what I'm talking about if you know the movies. But that was my second option for a tattoo. I think like a Skeksis would be really cool to get a tattoo, but they're actually like super, super spook. So I don't know if that's like fully my aesthetic, but I think like if you have a Skeksis tattoo, that's really, really neat. So yeah, this one, very, very excited to play. I cannot think of what her name is. The like, oh, Agra's. I was gonna get Agra too, but she also is quite spooky looking. So yeah, I want to play that. I also, like I said, I have the Labyrinth one, but this one is, I'm not really sure what you're even doing. I think you're just trying to heal the Dark Crystal, which is kind of the whole point of the movie. And I think you can play as like the Gelfling, but then also people play as the Skeksis, which is like very interesting. I'm interested to see kind of how that works, and this is a 2 to 4 player game. Then I got this one, which is by Kids Table Board Game, and this is Wreck Raiders. And this one was $20, but I just thought that this box was super pretty. This looks like more of like a fun, kind of like lighthearted kiddish game, which is kind of what this publisher is known for. But it is basically you are diving for treasure, and it's kind of like pushing your luck as far as like how long you want to stay underwater to get the treasure. So I think this looks fun. And I didn't see any other KTBG games in the areas, so I thought might as well pick that up. I have 2 more games to show you. This one here is the one that I'm most excited for. This is another U Rosenberg Cottage Garden. This was $30, and this was the most used game out of all of them. Like I said, the rest, like every other game was like, if it was used, it was like lightly used. This one was heavily used. Like you could tell it was loved a lot. But this one was the one I was most excited about, and this one is from 2017, but it looks like it was from a longer time ago. And this one, you are planting a garden, so it's a tile placement game where there's flowers, there's even little kitty cats in pots, which I think are so cute. I'm not even a cat person, but basically you are just laying down your tiles and planting a garden, and I think that sounds so fun. I have really loved all of the tile placement games by U Rosenberg that we've played, and you could even tell from this like that it's been used. Like there's like it's just definitely loved, but I'm very, very, very excited for this. This is the one that I was most excited for because I love tile placement. I love U Rosenberg, and I even really just like the garden idea. It's just really, really pretty. And that was by Stronghold Games. And then the last game in here that I thought I might as well pick up, it was only $20, is Santorini. A lot of people really like Santorini, and it is a kind of like a, not a tile placement, but like a piece placement game. And this one, I couldn't tell if it was like sun worn or if this is just the coloring of the box, but this is by Roxley Games. And this one is one that a lot of people really like. So you have different like gods, and then you are placing the different like levels, dome tops, and just kind of like moving your worker and trying to reach the 3rd level of the tower. I don't know. I don't really know, but I know a lot of people really like this game, so I figured for $20 I would pick it up. And that, my friends, is the whole kit, cat, and caboodle. Like I said, if I have any games that are in shrink wrap, I'll probably be doing unboxings, or I know aren't open. I'm going to be doing unboxings on Board Game Girly, so if you want to see any of these being opened, let me know which one you want to see first, because I probably won't schedule them till this comes up. But let me know if you have any game suggestions for me. Have you ever found something really, really awesome at Half Price Books or Goodwill or wherever you do your secondhand shopping at? Because I thought this was so fun, and somewhere that we're definitely going to hit up for games that I haven't seen anywhere else, and also like are on a really good deal, and also giving games that like obviously didn't get the love that they needed a second life in the hands of me on my shelf. So if you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments down below. If you ever found a really cool game somewhere, yard sales, wherever, let me know in the comments down below. What has been your favorite find so far? This one's mine. I'm not going to lie. And then maybe even the 7 Wonders, because I was looking for an old copy. So that's everything. I hope you like this video, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye. Okay, I just had to throw this in here. Cosmos. I'm gonna do research. Y'all, I think we got something going on here. Like, I recognize something. I think they have similarities. I'm gonna be looking into it because Cosmos.